All right. Thank you all once again for joining. And we are about to kickstart the session properly. We have a good number already joined us. Yes. Thank you everyone for joining, Miss Abigail, Mr. Akim. We have so many of us, Engineer Christopher Inyang. Many of us keep joining us every time. Thank you for being consistent with us, Mr. Ebubi, Mr. Garuba, Engineer Garuba, Mr. Felix. Everyone, thank you. Happiness Nwagumi says, thank you, Mr. James. Everyone, we are highly delighted to have you join us today. And like I said, our powerful speaker is right here with us, and I'll be introducing our powerful speaker. Today's topic, it's a very important topic. It's a very sensitive topic that requires the attention of every professional. And we are not surprised that we have everyone with here today. Today's topic is about workplace safety culture and communication. Workplace safety culture and communication, the unwritten written. And we have with us today an outstanding professional who is skilled in advanced incident investigation and reporting. He is also very proficient in occupational health and safety management system process documentation. He is very efficient in SOP derivation, risk management, management of workplace and work equipment hazard analysis, occupational health, policy formulation, and strategic drives for improvement, output, and eventually outcome. And over the years, he has developed keen interest in environmental sustainability and ensured the sustainable goals as agreed upon by the union are used within his domain wherever he finds himself, whichever workplace he finds himself. He tries as much as possible to add value to every individual person he comes across. And he drives changes needed for a habitable environment. He is very proficient also in project management, which he has used his project activities, especially an application of tools and techniques that has broadened his horizon and improved the scope around programs. He was appointed by the SEAL, that is Center of Excellence for Innovation and Leadership, to serve as an Assistant Executive Director, Protocols, Media, and Publicity. And SEAL, as we know, is a cosmopolitan initiative born of a passionate desire to contribute to a global sustainable world encapsulated in the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And this powerful individual who is right here with us is a powerful, fantastic communicator and a team player who has consistently seek to add value anywhere he finds himself. We all know him. He's also the Fine Boy. He's the founder of Fine Boy Safety, a proactive awareness program that he has initiated to create awareness about health and safety in the country, in the world at large. And join me on the podium, join me to invite to the podium in no other person other than Mr. Peter Sheyi Alemayo. Please, Mr. Peter Sheyi Alemayo, please, over to you now. You can have the microphone. Thank you and God bless you for joining us. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. The point I was asking myself, am I the same person? Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be here and a privilege to be here as well. I want to thank everyone who has taken time out of their busy schedule. Today is supposed to be a resting period for everyone, but for the love for the brand, Mr. Waliu himself and the entire team, you all joined us to make this day a wonderful one. I want to appreciate each and every one of us in here. I want to appreciate one of my mentors who is here too, Professor Julius Abenusewe Akpong, who is the MD CEO for SEAL, the center where I also work as an assistant Director of Media and Protocol. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. I want to also appreciate the members of the Sustainable People who are here too. Thank you for being here. God bless you. So without wasting much of our time, I think right now I would love to share my screen so we can just proceed in the conversation of today. It's quite a conversation that I believe would open our mind to quite a number of things. It's what we've been hearing all the time, but then what we are going to hear today is a bit different from what we've been hearing all along, and I believe we'll be able to do justice to this. It's going to be an interactive conversation, and at the end, I want to believe that we all will tell ourselves that well done, thank you, and God bless you at the end of the day. So please confirm if you can see my screen, please. Hello, just a feedback. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I just want to start with a little build up. We are digging the ground right now to build something, and at the end of the day, I hope that what we want to build grows to germinate and eventually becomes give us the fruit that we all want to eat from. So let's start something, a little conversation. So what you're seeing on your screen now is who are they? Who are they? So let's start this way. I'll be asking us a very small question, and the answer you give to me will also form a pivot to our conversation. So who is this, please? One person can just unmute and tell us who the person is.
Engineer Badmos.
Oh, wonderful. Engineer Badmos. Okay. Followed by, who is this other person?
Dr.
Engineer
Dapo.
And Dr. what?
Dapo Omolade.
Okay, Dapo Omolade. Okay. Who is this other person?
Professor Julius Akpong.
Professor Julius Akpong. Wow. Who is this other person?
Wow, Engineer Waliu.
Engineer Waliu.
Okay. Who is this other person?
Is you the speaker?
Fine boy safety.
Okay. I think this is where the confusion now came. So I got Engineer Jamiu Badmos. I got Dr. Dapo Molade. I got Dr. Julius Abanishebe Akpong. I got Engineer Waliu Adegoke. But for this last person, it is you, the speaker. That is his name. I got that part and all that, but it's fine. It's fine. That's just to show us, it's just a little brain teaser. But then the bedrock of our conversation starts here. Now, something is similar to all these great men you're looking at here. Something is similar to all of them. And this is where we want to start our conversation from. Okay, that's my name. I don't know if you can see it. Alemayo Shea Peter is my name. Some people also call me Fine Boy Safety. Now, these great men have quite a number of things in similitude. All of them are into the world of occupational health and safety. All of them are into sustainability. All of them are into improving business performances. All of them are into developing the environment. All of them are into contributing their own quota to the society. All of them are also into ensuring that they prepare the world for the adaptive measures that the world is currently experiencing right now. But the thing now is this. Yes, there's similitude in all what they do, but then they have their distinct futures. For instance, Engineer Jamiu Badmos is the visionary or the visionary of QHSCS Leadership Academy. Dr. Dapo Molade is the CEO of Hybrid Group. Dr. Julius, he is the QHSE head for Edwin Power Plant and also the MD CEO for SEAL. Engineer Wale Adegoke, of course, he's here with us. We are using his platform to run this conversation right now. He is the MD CEO for QDO Consult, and I am just there by their side as the small boy for this conversation. But there's a distinct future in everything that they carry out, and that distinct future hampers on their operation, the mode of delivery, and how they do the things they do where they are. There's something unique to how Engineer Jamiu Badmos carry out his operation in his domain. Same thing applied to Dr. Dapo Molade. Same thing applied to Dr. Julius Akpong. Same thing applied to Engineer Waliu. These people, what QDO does in the place of work, or how they carry out their own kind of work, is quite different from how Engineer Jamiu Badmos will carry out his own. But then The end goal is for us, is for what? To protect people, protect the environment, improve profit, quite a number of things and all that. But there's a distinct feature. The operation of QDOR is quite different from the operations of hybrid group. Same with SEAL, same with every other body there. It is on this small bedrock that I now want to introduce us to the topic of today: workplace safety culture and communication, the unwritten written. We've talked about culture in so many ways. People have discussed culture and quite a number of things on culture. And I tend to ask people, when they even mention the word culture, what does it really mean? What is it all about? We hear culture every now and then. We hear people say, oh, this is how the culture of these people is. This is how the culture of this environment is. This is what they do in this environment. This is how they behave here. This is what they hold on to tenaciously. This is how they want to be recognized in this environment. It speaks to culture. So what exactly does that culture really mean when we hear this thing? Because oftentimes we hear it. It's a word that is frequent in the field of sustainability, in the field of occupational health and safety. But then what does it really stand for? For instance, here we say culture has formed an integral part of human existence and has successfully defined us as a people. It has defined us as a people. Amazing. It has so become profound that once you see a sect, the culture about them define them. Looking at this picture now, I'm very sure quite a number of us can resonate with the people in this picture. They are known as the Maasai people. Personally, once I see this kind of people, the first thing that comes to my mind is that once I see people in colorful regalias with some kind of staff of office or a walking stick or a rod, jumping from one point to another, I already say these people are Maasai people. Do I need to go close to them to understand this? No. But certain distinctions, certain futures has given them away. And it is this future that gives me that understanding of who they are without naturally relating with them at close range. I have never been to Uganda. I've never been to Kenya, but I've read about them. I've seen pictures of them. I've seen videos of them. And with these pictures and videos, I can conclude wherever I find myself that, oh, these people are the Messiahs. So for instance, now, if I see someone in Nigeria who is trying to replicate this behavior or replicate this attitude or replicate what these people do, which serves as a distinct feature for them, I can successfully tell myself that, why are you trying to behave like the Messiah people? Why? Because those futures has defined them as a people, as an entity, as an integral part of the society or locality where they find themselves. So this now pushed me to cultural family. Cultural family. Many of us have this in us. Many of us grew up in this kind of setting. This is a picture of a nuclear family. And we are coming up with one example here. We say, for instance, the family of Mr. A has a curfew of not staying out late at night. The latest time you can stay at night is 8 p.m. This 8 p.m. is not written down, but you see it play out in the behavior, deeds, action of the family, such that it becomes evident to people who come across them. I remember growing up as a child. Once we go out to either play football, ride bicycle, and what have you, by default, there's this sensing that we have in our body. There's this nudging that we have that, okay, it is late, it is time to return home. The question I want to ask is, did they write it down anywhere in the house that once it is 8 p.m., you shouldn't be outside? I bet the response I'll get from everybody is no. But somehow it became what defines us in our home or in our houses, such that if you now stay beyond that regular time, people outside want to ask you, are you not from the family of the Adegokes? How come you are outside by this time? Why? Because people have successfully identified their Adegoke family with a particular pattern, with a particular value, with a particular system. And this system rubs off on anyone who has to stay in the house of the Adegokes. And by default, we start defining the children of the Adegokes with that pattern and value. Are we together, please? Just one feedback I'm fine.
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. Now, it now takes me further. Similarly, when you see the children of Dr. Matthew, you can easily identify them based on the practices of the children. And we say, these are Dr. Matthew's children. The question now is, why are we saying these are Dr. Matthew's children? Look at this picture very well. This has gone beyond the nuclear family. It is now extended. You can see that in this picture, they all look alike in one way or the other. Forget the fact that, yes, people from Asia always have that kind of distinctive value. But look at your family, your own immediate family. By the time you look at your younger brother, your elder sister, or any other one that you have, you will realize that there is this facial trait that you have. There is this identity that you carry. Probably the structure of your nose is the same with the structure of your younger brother's nose, or the same with the structure of your younger sister's nose. But the bottom line is there is this shared information that you have, this shared identity that you have. So the question we're now asking ourselves is, why are we saying that these are Dr. Matthew's children? What gave us that conclusion that these are Dr. Matthew's children? Why are we saying that? We have here the physical traits. Like I mentioned, you can look at this picture and see that they all look alike. So the physical trait is telling us that, okay, these are from this family because they look alike. They look almost the same. Then the next thing we now say is the values associated with the family, which now bring us to the culture. Apart from the physical traits, remember I used an 8 p.m. analogy to buttress something. You are outside playing football, but the moment you see that the sun is going down, you all know that it is time to go home. But the question is, did your parents write it somewhere that once it's 8 p.m., it is time to go home? No. It is a value that has been instilled in you. And by default, you have that clock in your head. Now, let's look at Nigeria. We say in Nigeria, we have 3 major tribes, the Hausa, the Igbos, and the Yorubas. And all of them with their distinct features, distinct values, distinct unique identity. I don't need to be told that this is an Igbo man, because when I see him in his regalia, the way he dressed with his isiagu and every other thing, I know this is an Igbo man. When I see a Yoruba man with probably the tribal mark, the Ashoke, and what have you, I say, okay, this is a Yoruba man. When I see the Hausa man, I say, okay, this is the Hausa man. Why? There are futures to give me this information. Then values that they hold on to. So this now make us define culture as the way of life, including arts, beliefs, and institutions, which are usually from generation to generation. Technically, it means culture can be transferred. It can be inherited. Now, if we agree to this, we now say it forms the baseline of shared language, value, norms, traditions, pastimes, customs, beliefs, and more. So I hold on to the aspect of arts, belief, and institution. And we are going to see why we are saying this as we move on. It is just going to be a conversation with us and to wake us up, especially in the aspect of occupational health and safety, where we all find ourselves. And by extension, those who don't even practice that, you can also imbibe some of the values you want to bring in here in your place of work, probably your family as well. Now, it now means that by mere listening to people when they speak, we can get insight on the kind of culture that they uphold. Please, permit me, I'll be using the word value and culture interchangeably. Remember, I told you arts, I told you belief, I told you institution. So it means now that mere listening to certain kind of people, you can tell the kind of culture they hold on to dearly. You can tell the kind of value they uphold. Somehow, the color for the design of this weekly webinar hosted by Waliu has become a signature to me, so that if I just see anything that has to look like pink or magenta, I say, okay, that is Waliu talking, even without opening it. Why? There is a value that is associated with this webinar based on that color that speaks to art. By extension, it is tilting towards institution. Okay. Now, there's a particular man that I know, such that each time I listen to him, there's a pattern, there's a structured pattern that his presentation follows. It now became something that I now ask myself, this is an art. I still listened to him last week. I tell myself, this is an art. This man has successfully created a pattern and an art, a value system that is already becoming the culture. And I'm going to prove that to us. Number one part of it, I had to bullet them this way for easy understanding. The number one part of it, you see the salutation from the person. The number two part of it, you see the airplane mode from the person. The number three, you see the illustration. The number four, you see the movement. Then the return. The salutation. I am anchoring the 91st series for this webinar, if I'm not mistaken. Last week, someone anchored the 90th series. And the way this person spoke, Engineer Jamal, if I'm not mistaken, he spoke as though it was the same person that was speaking, because he structured his presentation in that pattern. Art, belief, institution. Who am I speaking of? You all know the person. You know him. What am I talking about? This is the person. This is the person. If you've listened to his webinar or his presentation, oh yeah, let's start from the salutation. I want to know if you've been following here. One person can just start. Oh yeah, his salutation, how does the salutation come up? I'm listening. Please, you can unmute and let's talk.
We give we give thanks to Almighty God, the beginning without an ending, the something like that.
Right? Now you're getting the logic there. Then the next part is that he takes us through an airplane mode. Abi now. The airplane mode is such that he tells us that he's taking us to a destination. Maybe we are going to Dubai. But in between, he's not going to land there. He will turn back because he knows that some of you, once you get to Dubai, you will not return to Nigeria. Am I joking? Am I lying?
No, sir.
Definitely, you're right.
Then the next part is the illustration. The illustration, shin shun shun. I believe you all know the meaning of shin shun shun.
Where do we start from?
Okay, where do we start from? Right? Then he starts. The start is now the movement. He takes you through every of his conversation. And what happens? He returns. Abi? I just summarized how he behaves with his presentation in 5 bullets. But do you know the funniest thing? It is not the fact that I've listened to him over time that is my issue. It's the fact that the last webinar, the 90th series, go and check it. Somebody presented his own conversation this same way. This same way. The person gave us his salutation, took us through the airplane mode, gave his illustration, did the movement, and returned us. Culture, art, belief, institution. How many of us have seen this movie? Okay. I've seen this movie, Roots. The name of this young chap here is Kunta Kinte. Kunta Kinte is a Mandinka warrior from Jufure. Jufure should be either in the Gambia or Mali. He was what happened to him. Of course, he became a slave. They took him far away to the United Kingdom. But when he got there, it took a while before they could break his spirit. Oh, your name is Toby. No, my name is Kunta Kinte. They will whip him. No, my name is Kunta Kinte. They will whip him. Eventually, he succumbed. What succumbed was his body, not his spirit. He got married there. When he got married, because of the culture that he has all the way from Jufure, he named his child the same way they would name the child in Jufure over there in the United Kingdom. In the night, they will raise the child to the full moon and tell the child, your name is your shield. I am Kunta Kinte, son of Omoro Kinte, and whose wife is Binta Kinte. You are a Mandinka warrior from Jufure. Your name is your shield. Something happened. He gave birth to a girl. The girl grew up. He was trying to let her know the culture in Africa and all that. Something happened in between. The girl was sold to another merchant, married where she was, but the culture was beginning to die down in between. But she passed that information down to her own children. By the time her own child, a boy, grew up and all that, his own wife gave birth to a set of twins or triplets. But in between, before those children grew up, they sold him too. But where am I heading to in this conversation? At the tail end of the whole movie, when his own child wanted to name his grandchild, he asked him, Father, I learned that there's a pattern with which we do this thing in Africa. Can you teach me? The father said, honestly, I don't really know the whole pattern again because I was not under the tutelage of those who could put me through the entire information and entire process. But one thing I know is that you're going to raise the child to the sky at night in the presence of the full moon. You speak to the child and tell the child that your name is your shield. And it became a systematic way of life, such that when you want to name the child there, you wait at night, in the full moon, you raise the child up, and boom, you're a Mandinka warrior. You're this, you're that, you're that. The conversation continues. It became a pattern. So the first part of it is the art. The other part of it is the belief. Then it became an institution. Now, let's start. I was fortunate to be at one of the mass transit companies in Lagos one day, and this was the conversation. This was the information I heard, and I was shocked. So they told me that day. They said this particular transport company in Lagos, they call their drivers pilot. I was further told that they have this corporate style of dressing. They wear white and black. I don't know I don't want to mention the name of any company here. They wear white and black. And they have a special way of addressing their passengers. Each driver with his ID card. That white and black that they wear, they will talk, The person further explained that while journeying, the rule of engagement with drivers is always so professional that you hear them say sir or ma when they are responding to you. I'm very sure some of you are shocked. Are you sure this guy is talking about transportation system in Nigeria? Yes, Nigeria. Now, it became a pattern such that they built value system, they built a culture, and it became enshrined in the DNA of the system of the organization, such that when you hear something about them, these things are not written, but it is a lifestyle adopted for good. Culture, value, belief, art, institution. Now, many of us, probably some of us, many of us you should find the organization in here, excluding those who are bankers and the new system of work that we find out lately. The maritime, pipeline and energy, oil and gas, aviation, construction, manufacturing. Everything here, in fact, if you're an occupational health and safety person here, everything here is to prevent accidents, promote an accident-free work environment and what have you there. But are you going to tell me that the operational system in maritime is the same with the oil and gas? Are you going to tell me that the operational system in manufacturing is the same with construction? Are you going to tell me that the operational system in aviation is the same with pipeline and energy? Of course not. They are not. They are distinct features that characterize and define them. For instance, someone in maritime now, I will hear man overboard, man overboard. Imagine me as HSC guy in the banking sector. What's it concern me with man overboard? I have no business with man overboard, except if my bank is built on water. But I have no business with man overboard. But someone in maritime has a lot of things to do with it. The operation is dictating this. So by the time I now see them exhibiting certain cultural values in their system, which is distinct to them, it does not have to follow my pattern in here. It does not have to. It doesn't. I remembered my days in construction. You will hear that, oh, no two project sites are the same. At first, I used to think people are just bluffing with that until I experienced it. No two project sites are this. In fact, if they are constructing a project here and point A and point B, they are trying to construct another one, it's going to be different because the challenge they might encounter in point B might not be the same with the one they will encounter in point A, and vice versa. So sound HLC culture, what is it? What does it mean? Where we now start saying, okay, we've discussed culture, we've given small background as to how culture behave and what culture should look like. Sound HLC culture. We say it is one which facilitates continuous critical and thorough effort to improve health and safety and environment. The belief, remember, the norm, ideas, and more form a critical part in shaping culture. What is the belief? You mentioned we're looking at here. Value, communication. Now, I used Engineer Jamiu Basmont as a pivot. Was he communicating? Yes, he was. He was delivering a message to us, but beyond that message, he was shaping a culture. He was shaping a pattern. He was shaping a belief system. He was introducing acts. He was coming up with a norm. In that Kunta Kinte that I mentioned, there was value, there was communication, there was self-verification. When they were flogging him, your name is Toby. He said, no, I am Kinta Kinte. I am a Mandinka warrior. Verification. This is who I am. There is a verification that hybrid group has. There's a verification that Kido Consult has. This is who we are. By January now, we'll be really setting the pace now. Has it not become a synonymous name or a household name with Engineer Walu? It has become that. It's a verification. But that in that verification, there's communication because he's going to talk about it. There's ownership, of course. Procedures, leadership. If there's no leadership, for the Kunta Kinte that we mentioned, there was a leadership part of it. If there was no leadership part of it, the Kunta Kinte, the leadership came from Omoro Kinte, his father. If the leadership is not there, there's no way that information or that culture or value system will be passed across to him for him to even believe in it and hold on to it tenaciously. So we say this culture can reflect in code of conduct, encouragement, and development, and also the company mission statement. Hi. Mission statement. What do we stand for? Why are we here? We came here to do something. There is a mission statement as to why Engineer Wali is doing this webinar that he does. Why is he doing it? There is a vision to it. Where are we going with it? We are here because we want to do something. We are here because we want to change system. We are here because we want to change narrative. If you hear now, one of the words now that is very, very rampant, that is like an agile system now is we will shape the culture, we'll move the culture, we'll change the culture. Yes. There's nobody. Remember, I mentioned culture can be generational. It can be transferred from one generation to another. But the question now is, as we are transferring it, the first question I want to ask, are we watering down the value or we are adding to the value? Case study question. So impact of a sound HSC culture. What will it impact on? What are we going to get when we have a sound HSC culture? Of course, it will impact on reporting. When things go wrong, there should be a culture of reporting and proper documentation for referencing information and management. Remember, I mentioned to us that, in our homes, in our houses, our parents, they didn't write it down that by 8 p.m. You must be in the house. It is not written down anywhere, but somehow it is enshrined in your DNA. Till date, I don't know how to keep late night, not because I don't want to, but if I'm outside and it's very late, the first thing I'll be thinking, where am I going to sleep? Except if all those things are guaranteed, I know that, okay, I can pass, I'll sleep here, I'll be at rest. Sometimes my dad is late, of course, but sometimes if I'm outside very late, ungodly environment, quote and unquote, I tend to hear his voice, like, what, is this how I trained you? And I'll be like, no, you didn't train me this way. He didn't write those things down. He didn't write it down. But in here now, it should be written down. In here, it should be written down. Because those ones were not written down and we could follow it to the latter. Now we are dealing with quite a number of people from different backgrounds. It should be written down so that it will be communicated well enough to them. A culture of reporting. Then, of course, a just system. Not every organization have this. Not every organization have a just system. Some organizations have it skewed. Not having a just system will affect the mental composure of employees. This borders on fair hearing, equity, quality. Not every, and thank God for the new system that we have now. Oh, you have the DEI system of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Oh, if you notice now, most of the banks now, most of the MDCEOs of our banks now are female. They need to be heard too. Why? Because you should not exclude them from the system. A just system is one that is fair, that has equality, that has equity, that has fair hearing. But not many organizations to have this. Flexibility. If you look at, I know Engineer Jami Badmos is not of this generation. I don't want to call him, sorry, Engineer Wali, I hope this thing is not on record though. Flexibility. Now, the aspect of flexibility, what is flexibility talking about? You can see that there was this presentation he had on the Gen Zs and all that, and I love the way he answered certain questions. He could what? He could relate with these people. He could, even though they are not of his generation, but the flexibility has to be there. If not, responding to them, managing them, it will be chaotic. An environment that does not give room for inclusion and welcoming of ideas from others may find it difficult to thrive. Flexibility will improve work performance and more. I heard one time that, I don't know, I heard one time that the idea of having an elevator outside of the structure actually came from a janitor. If there was no room for flexibility, trust me, that janitor will not even talk about that idea. Maybe he must have lost his job because of that. Flexibility. Of course, learning. This is continuous. This is continuous. Now, going back to that Roots movie that I use as an example, Kunta Kinte, the information from Omoro Kinte down to Kunta Kinte, down to Toby, down. But in between, it was lost. At a point, it started getting watered down, and eventually, most likely, it will collapse because the sustainability of such culture lies in the continuous learning, continuous information dissemination. Learning is continuous. If you don't learn, it means you're dead. And an environment that doesn't encourage this will be at the brink of collapse. This will impede growth, development, both personally and generally. And of course, what happens? So now, here is what the learning will always show us. We say for an organization to have a culture of HSC system that thrive, they must not be self-sufficient. So you must not say because we are the top, in quotes now, then we are on top of the world. Nothing can happen to us. Oh my goodness. I'm speaking to Titanic right now. Titanic felt nothing fit sink us. Waiting. Who are waiting. In fact, Titanic gave birth to a whole lot of things that we use in the workplace. The iceberg theory. Titanic felt nothing could happen. Nothing can take us off grid. But who would have imagined that iceberg would destabilize that big, powerful ship? Self-sufficiency, self-satisfied. No. You must always continue to see that we need to improve, we need to grow, we need to this, we need to that. You continuously learn, you continuously improve. 1980, somebody who is a project manager in 1980 cannot just sit down and start competing with project manager of 2025. There's a gap, there's a difference. Or those who they call the lost generation, for instance, the lost generation now. They now want to compete with the Gen Zs, Gen Alpha, Gen X. There'll be chaos. Some people will be thrown under the bus and then they'll be driven to the dungeon because there's a whole lot of gap. self-satisfied. You can't do that. Otherwise, they are heading for destruction, and it will eventually become an attitude that eventually characterize the organization and in turn become a new normal, i.e. a new value, i.e. a new culture that they'll create. And by the time they now start creating this new culture, what happens? Downward movement starts. And the funniest thing is that downward movement will just be gradual. Dear, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. The next question, how did we arrive here? All those small things will make you arrive at that downward movement because you successfully remove that value that we associate, that we know you with, and you switch it to another value that we don't know you with. So the value that we know you with that used to take you upward before suddenly now change to a value that brings you downward. And it is just a dear thing, gradual movement. And before you know, downward. And when downward comes, what happens? Once an organization starts to toe the path of the all-sufficiency route, they begin to consciously or unconsciously create a culture that would undermine the already built, if effective, culture that they have. And when this happens, it ends. And this is it. Once the management starts to see HSC as a mere toy, then the culture is already leading the organization towards destruction. Imagine an organization that does not take incident reporting seriously. You will have an insight into what the reporting culture is saying. So it is either the reporting culture is dead or that they just write it down for writing's sake without any other action taken to it. Then you now start seeing what you are looking at in the picture. No, you are responsible. No, it is your fault. No, I told you the other day, you did not do what you're supposed to do. And if care is not taken, oh God, they might exchange punches. And the person I will pity most is the person in tie, because they fit strangle him for there. So now, when a culture is not right, what happens? When a culture is not right, what happens, really? What really happens when a culture is not right? Let's start. You see, when a culture is not right, number one, a culture that isn't just will always give room for reactions that are always negative. It will hamper on perception and give credence to ill feelings. And once this starts happening, trust me, you're losing it as an organization. You're losing it as a system. Because the only thing people will start seeing now is the negativity. Okay, they're just jettisoning the positivity, or they're jettisoning anything that can make the organization grow and say, okay, this is the system. But the funniest thing is that I will even want to ask, who are those who even make this culture? Who are those who even make this value? They are human beings at the end of the day, you and I. So with inflexibility, the organization will grow fast to breed a culture of exclusiveness and death. And this death does not naturally have to be that somebody is dying. The death can be the death of value, the death of growth, the death of a system. And once those deaths start coming in, gradually everybody will start packing their bag and baggages now. Everybody wants to jackpot to another system that they feel has the right culture for them to work in. And of course, with zero learning, the culture improves a zero system that is accident-enabled and built in failure. This part that I even wrote here is funny for me to read. Because I wonder how you want to improve zero. You are confidently improving zero with zero. Amazing. So now let's look at this. We're talking about the HSC culture. We say often things we take for granted affect the culture of an organization. And let us look at some of those things. The workplace. Are there time to carry out the job in a safe manner? As small as this thing looks like, it hampers on the culture of the system. Are the right tools available? It looks small, but hampers on the culture of the system. Does HSC take priority over production? My friend will say, stop saying that. And I say, okay, no problem. I'll stop saying it. But I'll still say it again for here. Does HSC take priority over production? Some organization, no. Some organization will tell you that production and HSC should be on the same path. They should be on the same level. And I say, okay, that's great. Awesome. At least you're telling me that we're not, at least no victor, no vanquish. We're sat there, we're doing the thing we should do it. Our resources are allocated to solving HSC problems. Okay, there are HSC issues, but HSC problems. Are there resources to solve them? Are the right skills available? These small things and more, they will always affect the HSC culture of the system. And trust me, these cultures, they are felt. Most times, they are felt. They are felt. People will feel it. If I come to your house today, I will feel the ambience of your house. I will feel how your house is. I don't need to see. It is the feeling that you give me that I will say, okay, this is how this person's house is. Now, but away from these ones that we are looking at, there's this critical part that I have seen that plays out, that some of us or some systems are not looking into well enough from culture. It's just like if father and mother are at loggerhead, father carry heavy hand, give mother a punch, bim. Mother too said, how dare you go straight to the kitchen, pick up a knife. I am going to stab you today. You are going to die today. What do you think is going to happen to those children? Or how do you think the psyche of those children will be? Now, pick this small analogy and let us use it to discuss the second thing we want to talk about, the management factor. Now, are there bureaucracies among management? Have you seen a situation whereby manager X and manager B are at loggerhead? Who suffers? The job, the projects, or the people underneath them? They suffer for it. Bureaucracies. And this plays out a lot in many organizations. The next part is, are stakeholders carried along in all situations? Very, very key. Do we carry out this? In project management, I learned something that there are some stakeholders that are key and influential. There are some who are key and not influential. There are some who are influential and not key. And there are some who are none of them, but they are just there existing as stakeholders too. But the reality is, are we going to ignore any of them? No. They are all important, and that is why we call them stakeholders, either key or non-key. They are all stakeholders. So in some organizations, for instance, some stakeholders are key, but they are not influential. In others, some of them are influential, but they are not key. It means, for instance, now, the ones you regard as key, maybe you see those who are at the echelon, those are the top, at the top, and this is a key stakeholder. But don't be surprised that it is a middle stakeholder who has influence to drive that thing that you want to be driven in the place of work. So are you going to jettison any of them? No. They have to be carried along accordingly and managed well. Are management committed to upholding HSC? Another very key management issue. Are they committed to upholding HSC? Very vital. The next point, are they in tune with the benefit of having a robust HSC system, almost similar to if they are committed to upholding HSC system? Are they drunk in the self-satisfactory mentality? And this is where most organizations start to nosedive. Oh, no, we are here. No, nothing can happen to us. But safety. Forget that training, Jerry. No worry. Before they burn you, we don't do this work. Nothing they saw. See, nothing they saw was what Titanic said. They were sailing. They were moving. Nothing they saw, really. There was party inside. Nothing they saw. The who is who. The who and who were inside the ship. Nothing they saw. But one small iceberg did not even give the Titanic a reason to repent or rethink its measure. What did it do? It submerged it. This is what a self-satisfactory mentality will do. You feel you have gotten to the edge. Oh, nothing can happen. We are there. Come on. That is when the error will creep in passionately. Are they one-off system kind of leaders? Hey, Engineer Jamiu, Engineer Waliu, we trained those members of staff last year now. We trained some of them 2 years ago. We trained the other ones 3 years ago. Forget it, 2025, they should go and rest. They will be fine in 2025. It's a one-off kind of system. Oh, we bought that boiler. Was it 3 years ago now? Forget it. It will still service us. It doesn't need maintenance for now. Forget. Carry on. Fire on. It's a one-off kind of system. Apologies to people who drive Honda here. I will hear it all the time. Honda man yawo. And the question I ask is, does the car not communicate to you? It is you that just tell yourself that, make I just reach Kara Bridge. No, make I just run reach Beggar From beggar, I'm okay. I'll just quickly do something. And the thing will now go and mess you up on top of the bridge. Then everybody will say, Honda. It's not as if Honda doesn't have its issues, but will it communicate first? Yes. Are you listening? It's up to you to respond. So, imagine on the day of resumption in a new organization, employees start to pass comments like this. I'm just giving you this for you to do a reflection now. You get to an organization, and the next thing you hear is maybe they just give you offer letter, bam, congratulations, and you are like, hey, God, I don't see another job, even though you did Thanksgiving in your place of work and all that. And the first thing they ask you is, this one no see better company join, I hear income. Just imagine yourself hearing that. Or in that same organization, now when they owe them for like 5 months salary in eye go clear. Or you are walking past those ones, you now get another side, you now hear, or more management when you get ears like Ashake, then go to suffer. You go to suffer for here. Then you move further again and say, the question is, how would you feel? I'm not even asking you what will you do. What you will do is up to you, it's not up to me. But how would you feel? You see, that enthusiasm that you have, that adrenaline, that positive energy that has come into you at first, what's going to happen to it? To just start coming with mixed feeling. The next you start asking yourself, shame you to she organization will buy. Shall I never by mistake enter the wrong channel like this? Or to now make what as worse, you go to an organization and you see that, right? You just enter the gates. As you are entering the gate, you just see somebody carry placard, just show you, run. What would you do? What would you do? Are you going to tell yourself that, I am in an institution that makes sense? In fact, picture this yourself. What will be the first thing you will do? Are you going to jackpot? Because this is, even me, I ask myself, what will I do? But it's a rhetorical question. Answer it in your heart. But then, culture is felt, like I said. Many things are not in pen and paper. You feel them. You hear words like, now so we they do for here. And that is why I want to appeal to every senior colleague, those at the management level who are in here. They should help us in pushing the good culture to management. A bad culture will do what an accident does to an organization. Please, you need to help us. Look at this picture. This is Sosoliso. This is Chachangi. I'm not going to go into details. You all know what happened to this airline. You all know what happened to them. You know people who died when these airlines crashed. Some are influential people. Some are students of some schools who the families have not even recovered from their mourning and all that. But away from that, I want to now ask you this question. If you are to board a plane to another location and the aircraft available is Sosoliso or Chachangi, would you still board that aircraft? Whatever answer you're coming up with is a function of what a bad culture can do. And the truth is, all organizations, they all have a culture. Either good or bad, they have it. To now know which one is good from bad is now in the hands of we the professionals to help these organizations decipher. And how can we, all of us in here, how can we help improve the existing good culture, or probably help move the organization from a bad culture to a good one? And we say here, in building a safety culture, it is always a collective responsibility. It is not one person. Kunta Kinte, when he was named, maybe I didn't mention that part. His father is Omoro Kinte, but his uncle was there. In fact, he's growing up, his formative years, his uncle had to teach him how the Mandinka warriors fight. Collective responsibility. Right, the uncle no talk, say, pay me born you now, go me your papa now. Collective responsibility, communal system. And if you ask me, it's one of the best strategies of solving our insecurity in the nation. I remember that when I was born in the north anyway. When I was growing up, it was not just my father and my mother that were responsible for me. The community where we live, we are responsible for me. In fact, there's this man then that stays in our compound. If I do something and this man flog me, see, I would even prefer the man to flog me than for my parents to come back from wherever they have gone to, either work or whatever, and be told that this was what I did. I am like a dead rat. So I prefer that man to flog me. You cannot go out and that man, where are you going to? Is your father aware? He's not my biological father now, but he believes that in raising a good society, good environment and all that, the family is involved. And the family, trust me, does not just end with father and mother. It ends with the community. Then if new person comes to the environment, we know, who are you? Who are you looking for? What do they find and all that? If you see a new strange face in the community, we know now. We know who is strange. We know who is not a member of the community. So we ask questions. But now everybody is building tall fences, excluding themselves and all that. And the funniest thing is that the insecurity does not recognize tall fences. Neither does it recognize a fenceless house. All house is house. So sometimes management may not even understand that certain cultures hurt until their eyes are open to it. And communication should always be very, very constant. All policies and SOPs should stop being paper documents alone, just for the sake of having them. We need to walk the talk, practical and true with them. It's not just that we have the SOP, you go to, your organization, do they have the HSC policy? Yes, tick. Oh, they have the quality policy? Yes, tick. They have, oh, awesome, you're doing well. But everything they wrote inside, are you feeling it in the organization? That is for you to answer. Culture is not one thing that changes overnight. It takes a conscious effort with true intention. And like I mentioned, growing up in the north, it took true intention of people in the surrounding too to ensure that we come out fine, turn out with good values, turn out as, I remember Franco said 9 p.m. news every Sunday. Before he even started reading the news or the events of the day, it's 9 o'clock. Where is your child? On TV. It's a cultural system. So if I ask you now, who wants change? I'm very sure everybody will raise up their hand that they want change. But if I now say, who wants to change? I might not see anybody raise up their hand. But the funniest thing is that we don't know that for us to get change, it is heavily dependent on who wants to change. Who wants to change is what will drive change. So if people are not ready to change, so what change are you now looking for? The latter is pivotal to solving the former. So safety communication. What are we communicating? It's the basic process of communicating different hazard, risk, and all that to employees in the workplace. But there's a goal to that, to reduce the chances of accidents since workers are aware of the risks they face throughout the operation. Ensuring that all employees are familiar with the safety operation procedures and controls in the workplace and understand how to work with them. In understanding how to work with them, is learning not involved? Learning is involved. If an incident happened or a near miss happened, is reporting not involved? It is involved. So if there's no flexibility system for the person who wants to come and report, you think you will get a report? You will not get. And learning is dying gradually. While it can be quite complicated and arduous, safety communication is absolutely essential in creating a safe and functional workplace. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, dear professionals, a good safety culture will do one thing. It will give you the 3 pillars of sustainability. To give you the people, it will give you the profit, to give you the planet. Because when you have a high return on investment, that high return on investment is coming from the people who are working in the environment. And why is the organization in business, if I may ask you? Is in business to make profit, one part of the pillars of sustainability. Then who will drive the profit? The people, another part of the pillars of sustainability. So my question now is, what now happen if the people are not in the right frame of mind? Loss is bound to happen. Loss in any ramification or thinking you can have. And once loss is recorded, what happens? Decrease in return on investment is certain. And the two pillars of sustainability that I mentioned, people, planet, and profit. Once this starts to decrease, imagine there's decrease in return on investment. So the company can no longer shoulder certain things. Some people will have to be going. Morals will be dampened. People will not be happy doing the job again. And once there's a decrease in return on investment, that profit that we want to make is cancelled. Once we start cancelling the profits, the morale of the people will be dampened. You might not be able to pay them off as early as at when due. You might want to start downsizing and all those things. Once you start doing all those things, the people too are cancelled. And when you cancel the people, what now happens to the loss that we're talking about? The loss is upheld. You check the loss every now and then. So the question will now be, how much did we lose last quarter? We lost about 415 million. This quarter, how much are we likely to lose? We are losing about 215 million. We'll just be checking the loss passionately. And this is what culture is all about. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to me. My name is Fine Boy Safety. Like as earlier mentioned, I create content on occupational health and safety online. You can find me on Facebook and every other place you can think of. Facebook, YouTube, wherever. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for allowing us to engage ourselves in meaningful conversation this evening. Engineer Waliu, I did not take this for granted. Thank you for always doing great things. Posterity will always be kind to you. Nature will always be kind to you because you're shaping a system. And like we said, there's a way when you take from the source, you're drinking from the source, you always continue to get from the source. And I pray that we also, when the time is right, our own generation will be able to pass the baton to the next generation for continuity. So it doesn't end like that of the Kunta Kinte family ended. Thank you.
Hello, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. My network was misbehaving, but I'm back right online. Thank you so much. You can see everyone acknowledging the wonderful, impactful presentation. Thank you so much for a job well done, well delivered. And one of the things that actually took my attention that I actually even had to write down was the what I call the Sabi. I call it Sabi, CABI. CABI. That is what you call the culture, the art, the belief, and the institution. The culture, what you do consistently over time, becomes an art, becomes what people start doing subconsciously. And when time comes, when it continues to go like that, from becoming an art, it's becoming what people believe in. And that is what actually strengthens the culture of organization. It becomes a belief, and before you know it, it becomes an institution that has been established. Thank you so much for giving me the CABI principle, which I will start looking forward to. In fact, I even look forward to making a video on this particular 4 words: culture, art, belief, and institution. This is a very wonderful, impactful, easy to understand. Anyone from anywhere, with your examples, with the way you have illustrated it, will be able to understand what you have enlightened us about today easily, without even stressing themselves to know what safety culture means. You have broken it down for simply with simple examples, simplicity in your explanation, in the way you communicated it to us, and we are really glad and excited that you have done this for us, and we are going to use these examples continuously in every organization that we find ourselves. We are going to use it personally in our own lifestyle, and also use it in every other in every four square, in every four corners of the world. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Fine Boy Safety Sheyi Alimayo, for this wonderful presentation. At this point, if you have any question, please you can raise up your hand. But while we are doing that, because we are trying to work with our timing, if you have any question, any contribution, please kindly raise up your hand. Kindly raise up your hand if you have any question or any contribution. And before that, we can see many of our guests are right here in the building. I can see Engineer Dr. Julius Akong. I also saw Engineer Tuku Lawal. Thanks for joining. And so many that we can't keep mentioning our names. Thank you, Mr. Kamarudin Badmos, for joining us today. Thank you, Miss Yetunde. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ressa Olayinka Ajiboye. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Olufemi Abiodun, thanks for joining us. Miss Madeline Elijah, thanks for joining us. Thank you. Kuta, thank you for joining us. Mr. James, always with us. Mr. Ikenna, yes, my very good colleague and friend, thank you for joining us today. And we really appreciate everyone's effort in making today another wonderful enlightenment series. My very good friend, Shinimi Okafo, thanks for always being with us. Mr. Hakim, Salam, thanks for always being with us. So on this note, we'll be presenting our certificate to our wonderful speaker, and we'll be calling on, let me share, permit me to share my, okay, is it an image that I've opened already? So sorry, I'm trying to check. All right, thank you so much. Please, can you confirm that you can see my screen? Confirm that you can see my screen. Yeah, thank you. So I'll be calling on I'll be calling on Dr. Julius Apong to please help us to present this certificate to our wonderful speaker, who has dedicated himself to enlightening us on Enlightenment Webinar Series 91, which is the 94th series. And if you again don't know, Dr. Julius Akong is one of our first, I think Dr. Julius Akong should be our first speaker. I think the first series or second or third. I know that the first five series that we had, Mr. Dr. Julius is one of our very first speakers in 2020. Yeah, I think 2020, 2021. So is our OG at this webinar series that we've been hosting. So thank you, Dr. Julius. Please kindly unmute and help us to present this certificate, sir. Dr. Julius,
thank you. Let me take this opportunity to thank you so much for, the energy, the value that you bring into safety practice in Nigeria and in Africa. Sometimes you are just doing this thing to fulfill your passion, but you never know the amount of impact that you are making in the world of work, in the workplaces. I believe there are a lot of people who are able to come back with their lives from their workplaces because of this singular effort that you are making. Because all the over 60 people that have attended here will go back to their workplaces with fresh information, fresh perspectives, fresh ideas, and implement things that will keep people alive. So it's a wonderful thing you are doing. Thank you very much. And let me take this singular honor and privilege to appreciate our very own fine boy safety, Sheyi Alemayo, for, you will see those days when we talk about making safety culture presentations, we start talking about pathological, we start talking about calculative, we start talking about those conventional things. But you see, this is a disruptive approach to discussing safety culture and communication in the workplace in such a way that people can pick it up from the lives that we led and take it into the workplaces and make real-time changes. So let me take this opportunity to thank you for those disruptive approaches and to ask that you please keep it up and let's continue with this passion until we consume the dominant logic in our African workplaces and continue to keep people alive. So on behalf of Coda Safety Consult, Coda Safety Limited, I present this fantastic certificate of appreciation to you, our strong and able presenter, Mr. Alemayo Sheyi Peter. Please, a round of applause for him on behalf of all of us here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Thank you
this
so much, our leader. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Peter, please, a word from you, sir, to everyone.
Okay. Let me say what I have to say. All praises and adoration be to the Almighty God, the first without a beginning and the last without an end. Having saluted my Almighty God. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time. I duly appreciate this. I do not take it for granted. And having over 58 people come listening to this young chap, it's great for me. And this certificate, trust me, I'm going to keep it. It's going straight to LinkedIn anyway. It's going straight to LinkedIn. Thank you, Professor Julius, for all you do for the body of sustainability, occupational health and safety. Engineer Waliu, please keep doing this.
So,
we are going to
thank
get
you.
to the 1 million series.
Thank you, powerful speaker. Please confirm you can hear me, that every other person can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Hello?
We can
No,
hear
I
you.
can hear
Yes,
you,
All right.
sir.
yes, we
Thank
can hear
you.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey,
Please, now we can all unmute and appreciate our wonderful speaker for today's presentation. Please let us unmute and appreciate him for the effort
Well
he has put
done.
in place.
Fine boy, thank you.
Thank you
This
Congratulations.
for the
excellent
beautiful
delivery.
Thank you, Mr.
presentation,
Speaker.
fine
Thank you.
boy.
Well done.
Now,
Thank you,
Thanks,
Mr.
Alaji.
Speaker,
Well
Thank
done.
for the
you.
Wonderful
wonderful
presentation.
presentation.
More wings,
for the
more life.
wonderful
Thank you very
Thank
presentation.
you,
much.
fine boys.
And
Fine boys.
don't let us forget,
I have an
another
observation.
webinar
Hear
series is
me?
coming
You're
up very soon.
wonderful. Gary,
Probably in the next 2 weeks again, we are going to
thanks a
have
lot.
another wonderful presentation by another wonderful speaker. And let not also forget that setting the pace 4.0, you are all making it happen. 4.0 is happening on the 17th of January. Registration registration will be as commenced. Registration has commenced for setting the pace. The following this week, as this week goes by, we will start sharing the link for registration, and we have a lot of opportunities, powerful speakers coming up. We are taking our time this time around to invite. We have always invited the best of the best, and now we want to continuously invite the best of the best of the best of the best powerful speakers that would essentially add value to individuals, to professionals in the field, not only in health and safety but across all field. This is not setting the pace is not just for safety professionals, it's for all professionals across field. Everyone that's a professional in Africa, in the country at large, in Nigeria at large, is invited to join setting the pace 4.0. And we look forward to everyone ensuring that they partake in this wonderful event. It's an event that has been organized, that has been set up to commence at the beginning of the year, January, so that we can ignite our passion, refuel our desires, and push us through the year. Thank you, everyone, for making this happen. And don't forget, for all your health and safety trainings, for all your ISO trainings, ISO certification, you can always reach out to Cordal Safety Consult. Thank you once again, and do enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you, and God bless you. We can unmute now and appreciate our speakers like we said the other time.
Thank you,
Thank
fine
you,
boy.
and God bless
Well
you.
done. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, the
Thank
Thank
speaker.
you,
you,
fine boys. Thank you for your
Thank you very much.
presentation.
Thank you,
honorable
Thank you, the
speaker.
boss.
great
Thank you
opportunity.
for your wonderful lectures, for your
Appreciate
knowledge
for this
transmission,
impactful planning.
for your teaching. We pray may God strengthen
Thank
you
you,
guys and
fine boy.
enlighten you more
You are
and still
blessed
give you the
always.
grace and the ability to still inculcate more of it to others, most especially to the upcoming professionals. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank
We
you, everyone.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you, our
Mr.
powerful
Awali,
speaker.
thank you so
And
much
as usual,
Thank
on the
you.
for
count of
organizing
10,
this one. We're
we are going
grateful.
to
An
take off.
opportunity.
We are going to close down the platform.
All right,
Thank
bye.
you. 10, 9,
Thank you.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Bye.
1.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.